At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time. Whenever news breaks, while we're on the air, it's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580. And we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting. A movement of people, it's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify. With you and God in time, I best align.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
How can I be a better father, son, a better grandson, honoring Fannie Lou's and the Fred Hamptons, the Harriets, the chariots that carry us to various areas that marry us to progress. Yeah, we the harvest, the lovely days and midnight marauders, even through charges and days of darkness. No, we in the hands of the greatest artists. I see it in the waters, I see it in our daughters. They can be bridges that know no borders. For so long, them folks try to ignore us. So we got the ballot boxes to vote for us. Peace to Stacey and the people of Georgia, who galvanize so that we can move forward. Steps are ordered with the presence of mind. Everything's more beautiful in time.
That's right. Everything is more beautiful with time. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, your host and White House correspondent. Not at the White House today. I'm here in LA, having a good time with you in afternoon drive time. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and I pop right on up. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. Last but not least, be sure to subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. I want to give a shout out to my Uncle Paul. My Uncle Paul is celebrating his 60th birthday. He's not a big birthday person, and so he's probably watching the show right now with my Aunt Lahoma, and he is probably like, oh my gosh, how does he know that today is my birthday? I know. Happiest birthday to my Uncle Paul, who is slim and trim at 60. And, I'm telling you, people want to know how you do it. And, it's amazing. Just a little portion control, get you just nice, right and tight. And so happiest birthday. I bid you well, your next 60 years of good health and good food and good times. How about that? All right. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, y'all see how Jon Stewart ripped Paramount and CBS in a profanity-laden diatribe after the Late Show cancellation? Did y'all see that? NBC News is reporting that Jon Stewart lambasted CBS's decision to cancel the Late Show with Steve Colbert on Monday's episode of The Daily Show, ripping their shared parent company, Paramount Global, for what he called a capitulation to President Donald Trump. Stewart referred to Paramount's intended merger with Skydance in an $8 billion deal, which is pending, that's right, you guessed it, government approval. And said that shows like The Late Show made CBS that money. Shows that say something. Shows that take a stand. Shows that are unafraid. This is not a we speak truth to power, we don't, Stewart said. He said we speak opinions to television cameras, but we try. We expletive try every night. Jon Stewart went on to say, and if you believe as corporations or as networks that you can make yourself so innocuous that you can serve a gruel so flavorless that you will never again be on the boy king's radar, A, why will anyone watch you? And you are expletive wrong. The profanity lay segment, which aired uncensored, culminated in Stewart's leading a church choir, encouraging institutions to sack up, shall we say? And Paramount and Comedy Central did not immediately respond to requests for comment. I'm sure they did not. But somebody had to say it. Look, when it first happened, remember, we were on air when news dropped that Steve Colbert his show was over. His show was being canceled, that the franchise was being canceled. And right away, I said, this don't smell right. And guess what? It still don't smell right. It's getting real funky. And it hasn't even reached peak funk. It hasn't. And so stay tuned for that. Moving on, in other news, NPR is reporting that the U.S. withdraws from the UN Cultural Agency over divisive social and cultural issues. You see, the Trump administration will withdraw the U.S. from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, otherwise known as UNESCO. Remember, we were talking about UNESCO in the first hour. Hunter Biden actually used to be on the board of UNESCO. Didn't know that until the interview that dropped earlier this week. But the agency focuses on promoting international collaboration in education and science and culture. And it's best known for its list of World Heritage Sites, which acknowledges places with cultural and natural significance. Well, guess what happened today? A U.S. State Department spokesperson said in a statement that involvement in UNESCO is, quotes, not in the national interest of the United States, accusing the UN agency of advancing, quotes, divisive social and cultural causes, saying that the decision this decision is going to lead to the withdrawal of the United States by the end of 2026. I don't see how that helps anybody. I don't see how this is making America great again. I don't see how this is making us any safer. It seems like our friend group is getting smaller and smaller. The United States group chat is getting smaller and smaller when it comes to allies around the world. I don't think that is a good thing, but what do you think? Get in a more perfect group chat and sound off. Let us know. You downloaded the KBLA app, open up the open mic feature, and make your voice heard. We want to hear you. We just might air your POV right here on KBLA. But when we come forward, we're going to switch gears. I'm really delighted to welcome back to the show Dr. Ian Smith. He is one of our favorite TV doctors and one of our favorite authors. He always has a good word for us when it comes to our health and wellness from the neck up and neck down. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Dr. Ian Smith, when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
This is Secret Clinical Dominating Extra Stinky Stress Sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and always a pleasure to welcome back my friend, my brother, Dr. Ian Smith. If you haven't already, I want to encourage you to check out his new book. It's Eat Your Age, Feel Younger, Be Happier, Live Longer. It's a comprehensive, all-natural guide to define the effects of aging and improving the quality of life at every age. Dr. Ian, welcome back to the show.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, it's so good to have you here. First things first, a lot of us are still reeling after hearing the news about the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. He was a fixture, not just in TV land, but in Black culture. A lot of folks have a lot of fond memories of watching Theo Huxtable grow up before our very eyes. I just want to give you a chance to react to the news as a father and as somebody that, people have also sort of grown up with watching on TV. Talk to us about how you're reflecting on the enduring legacy of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Well, when you first hear the news, you don't believe it. So I didn't believe it. Of course, it just seemed kind of out of nowhere. But obviously, it was true. It's just devastating. I'm 54-year-old. So much more life to live. So much more great things to do. What a great legacy. As you said, a big part of our childhood and as we were young adults and adults, the show was pivotal to us as African Americans in our culture. And despite what happened with Bill Cosby and all the other things, to me, that doesn't detract away from the importance of that show. That show was bigger than Bill Cosby. That show had a lot of great actors. It touched a lot of important points for us. It was very relevant. It was aspirational, inspirational, and Malcolm was at the center of it. I was fortunate enough. He came to my house to one of my book signings, and uninvited. He came with someone else, and I said, "What? Like Theo's in my house? What's up?" Like, you know what I mean? And he couldn't be any nicer and smooth and kind. And gracious, and all the things that people are saying about him are just so true. Sometimes people say all these wonderful things and all these plaudits, and you wonder if it's really true. With him, it was true. He was just a kind soul. He was humble. He wasn't arrogant, and I really enjoyed talking to him. And I feel bad because life gets so busy that you don't keep in touch with everyone. And he was like on my call list to just send him a text and say, "Hey man, what's up? What's going on?" And it didn't happen. And then for him, to transition in Costa Rica, swimming in the ocean. I love Costa Rica. I have gone swimming in the ocean in Costa Rica. So of course, I was saying to myself, "My goodness," I remember when I was in the water was warm, it was strong, and I just thought how beautiful it was. But you also realize that water is very powerful and it can be dangerous. So I'm just very sad. I think that we really lost a really super person. The world did, by the way. And I feel bad for his wife and his child. I mean, it's just unthinkable, unthinkable. But it also reminds us, by the way, that we really can't take life for granted, and we have to maximize it to the most that we can. And also we have to value life. So many people don't value life anymore, and people need to rethink about the finality of death. My uncle used to always say to me, "Ian, life ain't no dress rehearsal." And he was right. This is it. And so that just reaffirms that we really need to enjoy life, appreciate life, and do the most that we can.
Point well taken. And in so many ways, your body of work has offered us tips, tools, and resources to do that. Tips, tools, and resources to live a longer life, to thrive, and to do so with a sense of mindfulness, with a sense of purpose, and with some rigor. And so, let's talk a little bit about Eat Your Age, which, is a bestseller. It has created so much buzz, and it's also given us language to describe what it is that we need in order to live long and prosper. And so talk to us about what have you been hearing from particularly the Black community as you've traveled across the country promoting this book. What's been the response from Black folks, and is there a paradigm shift that you're sensing as a result?
That's a very interesting question. My feeling has always been that a lot of us know that we need to do better. A lot of us know how we can do better, but there's this gap between the knowledge of what we need to do and the need, and then the actual execution. And I spent most of my career trying to connect those disparate parts. That's the important part, right? I've written 28 books. 22 of them or 23 of them are about health and wellness. And the question is, how do you get people to not just absorb and digest the information, But then once they've done that and they've processed it, then make the changes in their life. I'm in the midst of writing another book, specifically for African Americans, actually. I'm in the midst of writing a book just for us about our health and about all the different diseases. And it's kind of going to be like the primer. You know, if you get diabetes or breast cancer or HIV, colorectal cancer, I want you to pick this book up and read that chapter and not just learn the information so that when you go to your doctor, you're informed, but also to get a feeling of optimism, of hope that you can beat these things and that you can still make improvements. And I think that for us, historically speaking, and everyone knows about the mistrust in the medical community and why we've mistrusted the medical community for so long. I get that. But it's also the resignation that we have to disease. We resign ourselves to a shorter life expectancy. We resign ourselves to, once we receive a type 2 diagnosis, that we're probably going to end up having kidney failure or an amputation. And that doesn't have to be the case. My message to us is that if you gain greater health literacy, not at my level, but just have a better understanding. What is diabetes? What is high blood pressure? What is high cholesterol? Just a basic understanding. So when you hear these terms and you're sitting in front of a healthcare professional, you can understand what they're saying, and then you can put that into a plan to make a difference. And I think that's the key. The key is that we have to be able to process this and then do something with it. And we're doing better at doing something with it, but we got to do more with it. I mean, look at our life expectancy. You know, why should we be living 8-9 years less? 8-9 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time that we're missing out on average.
That's a lot of birthdays. It's a lot of holidays.
Christmases, parties, grad, everything. I want us to close that gap. And the best way for us to close that gap is for us to take control of our health destiny and be more mindful and stop relying on others. You know, and that's really my message to people, is that the information is out there, not just with me, by the way. The information is all over the place. But are you willing to make a change? I'm working with a couple of former NBA players who've decided that they need to hit the reset button. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was talking to one of them and I said, why now? Like, what is it? And he just said, listen, you know, I'm of a certain age where my health is kind of getting out of control. I'm worried. I want to be around for much longer. I don't want to deal with diabetes and high blood pressure. And so I want to take steps now. And so I need you to help me. And so I just think that more of us need that kind of initiative, right?
Yeah.
To take steps.
Yeah, and what's so wild about that? I mean, you're talking about NBA players. And so anybody who knows what to do in the gym, that knows what to do on the field, on the court, what they need to eat. Like these folks' bodies are trained to operate at an optimum level. And so, you know, it's a little counterintuitive, you know, to think that they may reach a certain age, right? And even they need a little bit of help. They need a little bit of motivation. They need a reset. And so, you know, what I love about you sharing that little nugget with us, it's a reminder we ain't got to have no shame in our game. There is no shame in seeking out tips, tools, resources, help, coaching from people. Our bodies change as we get older. You know, the stuff I do in the gym now is very different from the stuff I did in the gym when I was in my 20s, 20 years ago, right? You know, and in some ways you got to work harder, in other ways you got to work smarter.
Yes, that is the key. It's not about doing less. It's about doing what is different but still right. And that is the premise of Eat Your Age. Eat Your Age is saying, listen, as we age, as our bodies age, we can't do the things that we did in our early 20s. But there's something new that we can do, and it can still be effective. We should not resign ourselves to a state of inactivity. We should not resign ourselves to not being able to eat well. We have to say to ourselves, we are constantly a work in progress. I view myself as a work in progress. I am consistently in the gym. I am consistently reading and watching videos learning, how do I gain more muscle mass? How do I do something different? I am a lifelong learner and will be a lifelong learner, because in order to progress, you got to keep up on what's happening. And this stuff is changing and evolving so much. And so you're right. We have to still do things, but do it in a different way. You know, do you need burpees at 70? No. You know, well, burpees not anyway, by the way, but you know, there's certain kind of
burpees at 41.
That's all another conversation. It's a very inefficient. Yeah, it's very inefficient exercise. Anyway, but my point is that there's certain things you don't need to be doing in your 50s, 60s, and doing in your 20s, and that you were doing in your 30s. And I'm hoping that with your age, that people realize that they can make these changes.
When we come forward with Dr. Ian, I want to give you a chance to react, really situate some of the insights from your new book, Eat Your Age, with some of the innovation that we've seen, particularly when it comes to weight loss. President Trump refers to it as the fat shot. Most of us know it as just weight loss medication, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Ozempic. When we come forward, we want Dr. Ian to separate a little bit of the fact from the fiction when it comes to the innovation that those weight loss drugs offer, with some of the good old-fashioned tips he has in his best-selling book, Eat Your Age. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Dr. Ian Smith when we come forward.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is not worried about President Trump's threat to block a stadium deal unless the Commanders revert to the Redskins name.
We need to complete our part so that the team can get to work, so that local businesses can get hired, so that we can start earning the tax revenue that will come when we deliver the Commanders Stadium.
Owner Josh Harris has no plans to change the name. Former President Obama's office is denying President Trump's claim that his White House faked intel on Russian interference in 2016. They called it outrageous and a distraction. And comedian Drewski's Coulda Fest tour kicks off September 13th in London, hitting 11 cities, including New York City, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. The comedy and music show will feature Big X the Plug, Soulja Boy, Young M.A., and more. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Santa Fe Springs on the 605 southbound before the 5. A crash is being cleared out of the carpool and the left lane. Watch for delays backing up away from Whittier Boulevard. East LA, they're also trying to wrap up this wreck on the South 5 at Dittman. At last check, the 2 left lanes were blocked due to an overturned car. Overall slowing, loading up out of Burbank, heading away from Alameda. And you've got this wreck in Eagle Rock on the South 2 before Colorado. With only the left lane open, that drive loads up away from Mountain Street.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams conducted their first day of training camp today at Loyola Marymount University. The first open practice for fans will be Thursday. This is the first time in 8 years the Rams are starting a training camp without Cooper Kupp. The all-pro receiver signed with Seattle as a free agent. The Rams have a pretty good replacement for Kupp. They signed 12-year veteran Devontae Adams, a 6-time Pro Bowler. Before signing veteran point guard Chris Paul on Monday, Clippers management asked James Harden if he was okay with Paul joining the team. Harden said he was cool with it. The Clippers wanted to be sure. Harden and Paul were teammates for 2 seasons with the Houston Rockets from 2017 to 2019. There were reports that Harden and Paul did not get along at times because both wanted to be the dominant ball handler. Apparently, things are all good today. no debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time. Whenever news breaks, while we're on the air, it's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580. And we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
Los Angeles is rebuilding after the fires. If you call Altadena home, you understand the toll and the challenge of rebuilding. Now is your chance to shape the future of our neighborhood. Through Engaged California, survivors like you can help guide how we rebuild, quickly, thoughtfully, and with lasting resilience. It's safe, it's anonymous, and it's powerful.
Fire is a highly traumatic experience. There should be counselors available as soon as possible and shelters to help people cope.
I've been reaching out about my recovery plan. It's not the doors are getting slammed, it's that no one answers my knock.
Two friends of mine lost everything, and I have thought of them every single day since the fire. People need to process this, and they need all the help they can get.
These are real stories shared by survivors. Your experience can drive real action. Your story can help us build back stronger. We need to hear from you because no one knows your community like you do. Through Engaged California, survivors of the wildfires have the power to shape how we recover together. Your voice, your Altadena. You help decide. Visit engaged.ca.gov and sign up now.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me!
National news of consequence, informed opinion,
and analysis beyond the headlines.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and always a pleasure to have Dr. Ian Smith with us. In case you don't know, he's the author of the new book, Eat Your Age, Feel Younger, Be Happier, Live Longer. It's a comprehensive, all-natural guide to defying the effects of aging and improving the quality of life at every age. I have long said, Dr. Ian, that I believe longevity is a justice issue. Longevity is a justice issue. It's about more than just doing your yoga and drinking your green juice. It is more dynamic than that. It's more comprehensive than that. And I think the book that you have released, it really helps to break that facade. Talk to us about how much of a barrier to our health just exists in our perception of like what is healthy.
Yeah, it's interesting because our perception is our reality. And a lot of times how we look at health and what healthy is and our understanding of health, the cultural implications of what we consider to be healthy, sometimes these become problematic for us. And, for example, it's a joke when I go on radio and we talk about quinoa and people make a joke about quinoa and, I'm not going to eat that quinoa and all that kind of stuff like that. But really, when you think of how powerful of a food that quinoa is and what it packs with protein and fiber, we tend to kind of make jokes of these things, and so people don't take it seriously. And I think that, it's okay to have fun and joke, but I think that we also have to understand the seriousness of it. And for us, a big part of us understanding what healthy really means. Healthy does not mean perfection. Healthy means, most of the time, not all the time, making good decisions. Making good decisions most of the time. That doesn't mean you're not going to have cake and sweet potato pie and some fried chicken. I'd eat all those things, all of them, but I do it in moderation. I can't tell you the last time I had red meat. Though I like red meat, and I'm not against red meat, but it's something I decided to eat less of because after doing research, I realized it was counterproductive to my health. And so we just have to do a better job, I think, of figuring out what kind of changes we can make personally. Movement. We don't move enough. We get older, we get more sedentary, and, people want to celebrate by buying expensive clothes or wearing flashy jewelry to kind of cover up the lack of physical exercise. And it just doesn't work that way. Like, this is not a vanity aesthetic race, right? I'm not making a judgment on how you look. If you look good or you look bad, I don't care about that, right? To each his own. I'm making an observation about what your body is saying, right? Your body is saying that it's deconditioned. Your body is saying that you are not treating it in a healthy manner, by not moving it enough, by not lifting weights, by not having enough muscle tone, because you need muscle tone, especially as you get older. And so I think that we just have to, in general, have a different perspective of what we deem to be healthy can be very different than what we may deem to be sexy, and we kind of, sometimes there's a very complicated interplay between what we think should be the physical aesthetic from a sexy standpoint versus from what's good for your heart and good for your organ systems.
That's right, because we age from the inside out, and I think we get caught up in the aesthetic, and I just want to call attention to something that you said earlier, and what I love so much about your approach to health and wellness is it's just so empowering, right? You're over here saying, look, it's not about being the picture of life. It's just about making better choices. Make the best choices that you can make based upon the information that you have available. And guess what? There's more of that good information that you can get from books like yours and others. And so, I love how you talked about making a plan. We can sit around and imagine, what life at optimum health might look like and feel like. But at the end of the day, if we don't make a plan, then, all it is a wish.
Plans are important. Some people say, I want to lose weight. Okay. What's your plan to lose weight? I'm going to eat better. What does that mean? You have to be specific. You have to have a strategy. You have to have benchmarks so that you can sit there and plot your progress. That's extremely important. People who are most successful in life in general, they have plans, they have goals, they have milestones, they have accountability. And so we really need to have a plan. And by the way, everyone can customize their own plan. I've created lots of plans, but you can take my plan or someone else's plan and make it work for you. That's the important part. It's got to work for you. It's hard to write one plan for everyone. And I try to explain to people in all my books, listen, this isn't the Bible. This is just a guide. This is a blueprint that you can kind of change the dimensions as it fits you. But I think that we need, in general, to have more of a plan. People hit me up on Instagram all the time. By the way, my Instagram is at Dr. Ian Smith. Spell the doctor out, I-A-N Smith. People send me DMs all the time asking me for advice on things or telling me what they're doing, but they don't really have a real plan. And I say to them, but what plan are you following? Well, I'm eating more fruits. I'm eating more vegetables. I'm eating less fried food. That's a great start. But what is your structured plan? And I think that most people, not everybody, but I think most people really need some kind of structure, at least in the beginning.
That's right.
Right? Until they get a rhythm and it becomes part of who they are. So they make these changes that become, habit forming, and then it becomes ingrained in who they are. And so that's their lifestyle. And that's why I think you need a plan in the beginning.
Dr. Ian, speaking of, plans and diets and things, one phenomenon I've been seeing on social media is something about this watermelon diet. Is there any truth to that? The watermelon diet? Apparently there's people, run around in the summer, all they're eating is a watermelon. Is there some truth to that?
Well, the truth to that is that, sure, if you're just going to eat something like watermelon or cucumbers or anything of that nature, and that's all you're eating, then you're probably going to lose weight because your calories are low. I mean, that's the whole point with Ozempic, is that these people who are on Ozempic and these other GLP-1 agonists, what they're doing is they're taking in less calories. That's what they're doing. So it's really a low-calorie diet in disguise. It's a low-calorie diet, basically. And so, yes, eating a bunch of watermelon and nothing else is low-calorie diet, which means the old-fashioned equation, calories in must be less than calories out. That's how you lose weight. Now, the downside of that is that watermelon is not going to give you all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you need to sustain other parts of your health. And so, sure, having some of it, but then that's a very poorly balanced or an imbalanced nutritional approach. I would never recommend that because you're missing out on everything else that you need.
Well, thank you for dispelling that myth there, Dr. Ian. In our remaining minutes, I want to ask you, how are you situating some of the insights from your best-selling book, Eat Your Age, with the weight loss craze by way of Ozempic, by way of Wegovy and Mounjaro, all these weight loss drugs that are out there in the market that are revolutionizing the weight loss industry? Can someone be on Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever, and also have some big takeaways, life-changing takeaways from a book like yours?
Sure. I mean, listen, I believe that I've been doing this a long time. This is not the first time we've seen a wave of weight loss or diet pills or diet interventions and injections. This is not the first time. For a lot of people who are younger, this is the first time they've seen this kind of craze. This is going to pass, and people are going to realize that it's not the magical solution that they think it is. Do they work? Sure. Could they be used to get a kickstart to a long-term program? Absolutely. But you can't stay on the rest of your life on these medications. It's unsustainable on many levels. Financially, health-wise, it's unsustainable. These medications have a lot of side effects, and probably the longer you take them, it is likely you are going to encounter at least one of these side effects. So it's this way of living on these medications to maintain your weight or lose weight without making the other changes that are necessary, which are regular physical movement and exercise, resistance training, eating less calories. You still have to make those changes. And so I think that, people are going to have to realize that this is a short-term, temporary thing. I'm more into the long-term results.
Yeah.
Which is why Eat Your Age says, let's talk about long-term habits that become part of who you are so you don't feel like you're on the diet. This is just the way you live. And I think that people are more amenable to that kind of living rather than taking pills or injections.
I think you're absolutely right. And we've talked off air as well. And Dr. Ian is not the type that's going to make you feel guilty for having a cookie. In fact, if Dr. Ian is out with you, he might have a cookie with you.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I really enjoy that you create room for us to indulge. Right. And if 80% of it is according to the plan and 20% of it is the remix, Dr. Ian, did I get it right? You're okay with the remix?
100%. Got to have the remix. Life is life, man. You got to have the remix.
That's right. Dr. Ian, final question for you. You have such an incredible body of work. I mean, you have been around for a long time, and you've been blessing us with books and all sorts of insights to help us on our longevity journey. In what ways has your career been a prayer answered?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, my career, the career I've had is very different than the one I started off with. If I'd kept to my original plan, I should be an orthopedic surgeon operating on knees and hips and replacing joints, which I love, by the way. I still love it if I was practicing medicine like that. But no, this has been a great career. There's nothing better than being able to help people transform their lives. And I've been blessed enough to be on the biggest of stages to help millions and millions and millions of people. Whereas if I were a practicing physician, I would help only one patient at a time, which is not a bad thing. But I've been blessed with my platforms in the media, my books and TV, that I've just been able to help so many people. And that to me, someone just sent me a DM on Instagram saying that Super Shred, which is one of my books from years and years ago, how Super Shred, she's been on for 5 years, has changed her life. Those are the kind of messages that I believe, are my legacy, is that I'm just trying to help people. I try to meet people where they are and give them the tools and the encouragement and the empowerment to take control of their life. And it's just been a wonderful career. I've just loved every second of it.
Well, we've loved being on the journey with you. We'll continue to stay on the journey. Folks, go out and pick up Eat Your Age. Eat Your Age. It's out there. It's a bestseller for a reason. Eat Your Age, feel younger, be happier, live longer. And then if you're really, hell-bent on seeing Dr. Ian in person later in the fall, we're going to be at the Black Book Bash 2025 in Jacksonville, Florida. So you have a chance to meet Dr. Ian in person there. But until then, pick up the book so you have something to talk about when you see Dr. Ian in Jacksonville.
That's right. Come on. October 3rd to 5th, blackbookbash.com. Lots of great people. Michael Eric Dyson, Kim Fields is coming. You're coming. Lindsay Davis from ABC, Cynthia Bailey from Housewife. It's just going to be all in the mix. All in the mix.
You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Our thanks to Dr. Ian Smith. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Hey, Jill Monroe. Hot in that studio. I dress the East Coast in fall, and I come here and I'm like, oh, it's still summer here. That's right. I mean, this is bar like nothing. I gotta go back. I say it too loud. Yeah. But how are you doing? Well, I hope we can get together around here. I know we were talking about it. Okay. 5 in a minute. How much time I have? 1 minute. I'm down. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Remember, in the first hour, we played one clip from Hunter Biden's explosive interview where he left a lot of Democratic Party elites on the spot, to say the least. Put him on the spot, to say the least. Take a listen to what he had to say during a different section of the interview that these internet streets keep talking about.
But him, and everybody around him, I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not an actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40-50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his. Not to mention, who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper, my mom or something? I don't know. Well, I don't know. Yeah. For real though, I don't even think it's your mom anymore. No. By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news, and beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with, that the journal opinions. But him, and everybody around him, I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not an actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well.
Well, so you heard it there. You heard Hunter Biden unload on the Democratic Party elite. You heard him mention George Clooney. You heard him mention CNN's Jake Tapper. You heard him mention the president's former senior advisor, Anita Dunn, and on and on and on. Look, this is my position. I think that an interview like this actually may be a good thing for the Democratic Party. Finally, someone is saying the quiet part out loud and saying it in a very unvarnished way. I think there are a number of folks that understand that there were some self-inflicted wounds that the Democratic Party imposed on itself. There's some challenges that the Democratic Party had and continues to have. And, you know, you cannot address what you're unwilling to face. You cannot solve for the things that we don't talk about. And so if anything good becomes of this conversation, besides Hunter Biden just getting a whole lot off of his chest, maybe this might free folks within the Democratic Party to face those things. Look, I've oftentimes talked about how there's a consultant class that exists. These are people who tend to be hired election cycle after election cycle. And sometimes the best thinking doesn't come from the folks who are just entrenched. And so, you know, how can you expect a different result when you have the same players on the field game after game after game after game? And so Will Hunter Biden's interview be a turning point for the Democratic Party? Or will it incite more of a civil war within the Democratic Party? Time will tell. But our time is up. I want to thank our leaders, learners, and listeners for tapping in. As always, my thanks to The Village helps to produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Brother Andy, to our show producers, Faraji and Art and Journey, my thanks to you. And remember, don't panic, organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.